Hello everybody, this is the British Bookworm and my name is Gavin. So this is take 4. How can one thing be so hard to do? So today I'm reviewing a book that I'm just on the verge of finishing, which is a extension to a book that I've previously reviewed called The Ellipsis Manual by Chase Hughs, and this is his second book called The 6-Minute X-Ray. Rapid behavior profiling. So Chase Hughs is somebody who's an expert on behavioral profiling and interrogation techniques and body language. So this is going to get a 5 out of 5. It's a masterclass book, which is possibly better to buy if you're short on time than the Ellipsis Manual, because it's a shorter read. But it's extremely in depth and a masterclass of teaching how to break down a subject and understand their baseline, their needs, their driving forces, and essentially their higher self, their high demands. So you have, the idea is that you listen to the person that you are analysing, and in 6 minutes you have essentially a massive information that gives you the kind of key profile of what that person is driven by, how that person sees the world, what that person's frightened of by the psychological profiling that you gain through listening to how they communicate, the language that they use, and then also assessing the body language that they use as a baseline, or the main movements within their expression, so you can understand that person and develop more rapport with them, guide them, influence them, and direct them. So for people in fields of, say, police, nursing, security, personal training, like myself, who comes from that's my main background, in any kind of profession, the information in this book is just second to none, and I think it'll become a class act that the majority of people, that when hopefully more people get wind of it, they'll people like Tony Robbins, or people like, really influential people will get wind of it and promote it on, say, Joe Rogan's show. It'll get mentioned, and Chase Hughs will skyrocket even higher than he is now. He really does deserve it. His books are fantastic. The level of professionalism and exactness of both books are masterful, and he's a high quality individual just as a person. But you can see that he's spent a tremendous amount of his life studying behaviourism, body language, and understanding the human condition on a deep rooted level. The book has the techniques that he teaches, that he's used for his interrogations with the American military, techniques that are very subliminal, subtle. You listen to a person and you dissect the types of words they use, the pronouns they use, the language they use, and you can get a picture of how they see the world, and from that picture you can deduce the kind of overall sense of their sense of perspective on the world, themselves, and on their relationship with you to a big degree. So what could you get from studying it? You would need to spend, as I am intending to do with both his Ellipsis Manual and this, a lot of time reading it and coming to learn off by heart, to a high degree, a lot of the content. So I would highly recommend it for all of you. It's a class act, and he's a class act. So, can I give you some examples? The body, it's very well written for somebody to just basically take the small chapters, which I like in any book, because it means that you don't have to commit too much time if you feel like you need to read a full chapter to feel like you've actually read a decent amount. You read a couple of these small chapters and you're taking so much information that initially when you read it you're like, wow. And it's one of them books you can't put down, which is always a good thing, isn't it? So, surgical behavioural profiling. With skills specifically designed for intelligence operations, Chase Hughs releases yet another groundbreaking book. How to see behind the masks people wear. Identify anyone's hidden fears and insecurities in less than 5 minutes. Identify quickly and easily get an 80% read of a person before you meet. Enable people to become the most vulnerable, open, confident, best version of themselves during the first 6 minutes of meeting them. Within a few days of reading this, I was actually applying the techniques when I was reading it, and I can 100% guarantee the methods in the book worked, from being able to read someone's body language, focus, attention, learning how to interact with them, really listening to what they were saying, just the act of trying to really listen to the words people use to try and get a base of what they're about, or an understanding of what their key kind of philosophy and motivators are, allows you to come across in a better way straight away, because you're actually listening rather than getting ready to carry on a conversation, presetting your next sentences, if you get me. So this is a masterclass, and it's one of them books that I would recommend to literally anybody. And if you are, whether you are someone who struggles in interactions, it would be a fantastic book for people with lacking in confidence. So the kind of skills within this book would be fantastic for younger people who are shy and have inhibitions and feel stressed in social events, and it opens up your connection with other people, as he says, your humanity with other people. Being able to read people's fears and insecurities while they may not know that you can see them is a really key element to great relationships and great positive interactions with other people. So it gets a 5 out of 5 from myself as a British bookworm. Chase Hughs is someone that I really respect. Subsequently, from the last review of the Ellipsis Manual, which I went on a bit of a tangent about from the book, about behaviourism, socially engineered mass societal control, long phrases and that, but how on a larger level I believe these techniques it's totally in separate to anything that Chase uses about, but I think society is being influenced on a mass scale by similar techniques with media and other methods that control society. So I got on a tangent about that, which I might update. That might do another review on the Ellipsis Manual just to focus on the book. But just open the book and you get to see lessons in every page. And when you get a book which basically teaches you about the reptilian brain, the mammalian brain, and the neocortex, and you get to learn about the main driving forces of the human condition, and it allows you to develop a much better way of communicating and relating to fellow men and women. Once you have those skills, then you walk into the world with much more understanding, much more compassion, much more finesse. You sort of become less judgmental. So it's one of those books that's life changing. And Chase Hughs, that's what Chase Hughs is I'd say, what I know of him, Chase Hughs has altruistic, compassionate goals as a expert that is a masterful expert on this subject. As somebody who's studied a lot of subjects on a lot of areas, you get certain people who stand out in those fields, and Chase Hughs, without doubt, is someone, in my opinion, in the body language field who just stands out above the rest. Not through, not because he wants to stand out on from an egotistical view. It's just his professionalism, his intellectual research and capacity to know the subject just stands out. He's not acting it, he's not trying to come across a certain way, he just is that way. So obviously I recommend it to any major book lover, any major bookworm, any major person who is like on a similar journey to me, who wishes to improve themselves, who wishes to enhance themselves, and also who wishes to have more impact with communication skills and with just daily interactions. This also, I would say, breaks down the ellipsis manual. It's kind of like you could fit this into the ellipsis manual almost, you know, and sort of go into a bit more detail. It's like it really complements the ellipsis manual. So I would definitely recommend this. Is probably your start book for Chase Hughs' writing, and then go on to the ellipsis manual, because the ellipsis manual is a bit more in depth and it's a little bit more harder to understand how to implement in your day-to-day life, where this, as soon as you read it, it's like, wow, alright, I can use that technique today. I can use eye contact today, I can use breathing rate today, I can use rapport building skills today. I can literally get this book and start implementing the skills as soon as you start reading it. So absolute fantastic, Chase. As again, you can see that I'm a massive fan of you and your writing. Your 2 books, brilliant. The behavioural panel is something that I would recommend to anybody who's further interested in this. If you can buy his book on Amazon. I'm sure or you can buy it elsewhere, probably from Chase Hughs' own business website. But I recommend you go and find interviews of Chase Hughs on YouTube, and I think you will learn a lot. You'll see him break down through his interviews some key aspects to this book. Within the context of what's in it, I can't really go into that on a review because it's just far too in depth. For example, there's just a couple of examples. The bodies, you can divide your body into segments, a half side, one side positive, one side negative. So if I'm using this arm on this side of my body, if I'm talking about something that I obviously feel very positive about, you know that the left side is my negative side. So if I use my left side for negative expressions of body language, so if I'm wanting to make you feel, if I'm wanting myself to feel good, I need to start engaging more on my right side to connect the neurological elements of my brain to the positive side of my dynamics as a living organism. So I'm not going to go into any more, because I think you need to read it to get the pleasure out of the journey of uncovering what is an amazing science. And some people say it's just common sense. Some people, and there is an element to that for certain. But there is no doubt about it that when you read this book, you'll be like, wow. That's all I'm going to say. You'll be like, wow. So 6-minute X-ray, rapid behavioural profiling. Some people think that body language is nonsense and you can't read things because they might see sound bites in articles. That's just not true. Body language is incredibly powerful. You just need to understand how it works and to what levels you can trust it and how the context is made, which is something that I think Chase Hughs will end up getting a lot of credit for, because he structured it into a system that's much more easy to teach and learn. But more importantly, the very root causes of what motivates people and how people want to be seen, which is extremely important in relationships. Read it and think, where do I stand on that? Who am I? What are my motivators? What are my fears? What are my wife's motivators? What are her fears? And I think that you'll be really shocked at how much it'll improve your relationships around you. So with that, I'm going to leave this. If you like the idea of this channel, please give me a like and subscribe. I'm a new YouTuber. I'm not even sure this is going anywhere. It's just part of a trial at the moment that I'm basically trying to learn how to communicate better through my passion for books on views and things that are relevant to the books I'm reading. Obviously, as someone who has a lot of thoughts, I go on tangents, and that might not work for YouTube, it might not work for YouTubers, but I'm going to be myself without too much kind of like fancy shit that people like putting on it on YouTube. So I'm just going to keep it basically like me talking to you. So what are your thoughts? Have you looked into body language? Have you looked into Chase Hughs? Are you a fan of the behaviour panel? Like myself, I'm a massive fan to that channel. And I'm going to leave it at that. So I hope you're all well. Have a good day. And I hope that you buy Chase Hughs' book, because I promise you, you won't regret it. See you later.